Take a look at this clip from an interview with Robert Downey Jr. This is a promotional interview, or supposed to be, for Iron Man movie that he's done. The interviewer is prying into Robert Downey Jr.'s past, which has nothing to do with the promotion of the movie. Robert Downey Jr. has very clear boundaries and values that he's aware of with himself, and also the intention that was explained to him the interview was based on. Now, when he starts to notice that the interviewer starts to cross his boundaries and go against his values, he first gives him a warning by asking a question like, "Why are we here? Isn't this supposed to be a movie promotion? Why are you asking me questions about my past?" So this is this is a way that Robert Downey Jr. Sets a warning or shares a boundary that the interviewer is clearly crossing. Now, he's not being nasty, he's not reacting, he's noticing that the interviewer is being sneaky and being kind of using this interview to pry into his past. After the warning that is given, the interviewer continues prying, and so this again goes against Robert Downey Jr.'s boundaries, against his values. And again, instead of reacting and being an asshole or any of those behaviors, he simply asserts his boundary and says this interview is done. He's given the warning was not listened to, and he has every right to disengage from this experience, from this interview, and that's exactly what he does. I think this is a great example for people who are working on stopping people-pleasing tendencies, who in this case might have continued answering questions even though the questions would have been violating boundaries and personal values. Instead, you can start to notice when those boundaries are being crossed. You can even give a warning by asking a question. This is not why we're here, for example, as seen in this video. And then if it continues, accurate and appropriate reaction is exactly what Robert Downey Jr. did by simply ending the interview, getting up and leaving.
Times. And I don't want to pry, so if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But what you said to the New York Times once was, it was after your incarceration, and you said you can't go from a $2,000 a night hotel suite to a penitentiary and understand it and come out a liberal. And I just wondered what you meant by that.
Well, the funny thing is, and I appreciate your point of view, things that you said 5-7 years ago were things you said in an interview that made sense to you at the time. I could pick that apart for 2 hours and be no closer to the truth than I'd be giving you some half-assed answer right now. I couldn't even really tell you what a liberal is. So therein lies the answer to your question.
The statement sort of stands by itself, doesn't it? I mean, does that mean you're not a liberal, or that you came out of prison not being a liberal?
Are we promoting a movie? To me, the thing is that I'm certainly not going to backpedal on anything I've said, but I wouldn't say I'm a Republican or a liberal or a Democrat. I think when I was talking to the person who was doing the interview that day, and that just happened to be my opinion. That's the nice thing, is you can have opinions and they kind of change and flow.
Yeah, well, that's life, and that's growing older, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you say we're promoting an interview. I mean, promoting the movie. I mean, obviously you're doing a promotional round of interviews, and that's why we're talking about the movie. But we also would like to talk a little bit about you, and I don't know how comfortable you are, talking about yourself at the moment.
You have as much time as anyone else will.
Yeah, well, okay, well then let me just ask you a few more questions, and you can answer them if you want to, and not if you don't want to. I mean, well, I think we've got 3 more minutes on our agreement.
Your foot's starting to jump a little bit. You better get to your next question.
The reason I'm asking about the past is that you've talked in other interviews again about your relationship with your father and the role of all of that in, the dark periods you entered and taking drugs and drinking and all of that. And I just wondered whether, you think you're free of all of that, or whether that's still something.
I'm sorry, I really don't. What are we doing?
Well, I'm just asking questions, that's all.
Right.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Are you... Oh, I'm sorry.
Take your mic.
It's okay.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Do you...
You see, okay, it's just getting a little dinosaur in your...
No, look, I don't want to do that.
Thank you.